I'm going to talk about whether there's an optimal diet for human health now. You've got to remember that health is multifaceted. There's loads of different areas. There's how physically active you are, how much stress is in your life, your economic health, your social health, your intellectual health, your emotional health, your psychological health. All of those things contribute to your overall health, and you can see that nutrition is just a small part of that. When it comes to studies and looking at health in general, there's not a lot you can look at, but one thing that is quite interesting is looking at blue zone areas. So blue zones are areas where people tend to live longer and live healthier lives in those later years, and they're your blue zones. But some of the common themes there is that they're quite physically active. They've got a strong sense of community, so they've got a good network of people supporting them around them. They get a lot of sun exposure and very little pollution exposure. They don't smoke a lot, and they don't have a lot of stress in their lives. But other than that, they don't have a lot in common. So they're the areas that they have in common. You can see that some of those, like for instance, we live in the UK, don't get a lot of sun exposure. You can see that some of them are a little out of our control. So you've got to work on the other areas if you want optimal health. Moving on to nutrition. Again, it's a little bit hazy, but everyone is different. Everyone is individual. Everyone's got different needs, different wants. Genetically, we're different. We've got different taste preferences. We've got different lifestyles. So it's finding a diet that fits you. And when it comes to general advice, it's quite, you know it, basically. You know it. It's choose foods that are a personal preference to you and try not to eat outside of a calorie balance. So make sure that you're eating as much food as you're burning. Try not to eat too much. If you eat too little over time, you're not going to have energy to fuel your days. So make sure you're eating in energy balance forever. That would be the definition of an optimal diet. There's no real common themes between diets other than eat plenty of fruit and veg and limit your processed foods. They're the only two real bits of advice that I can give you for optimal health. So eat plenty of fruit and veg, not too much, and don't eat too much processed foods. So in summary, eat food, not too much, mostly plants. That's optimal diet advice. Plan everything around that. So yeah, there's no real optimal diet for human health, but if you eat plenty of fruit and veg and not too much processed stuff, you'll be all right.